Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be replacing an iPhone XS Max rear camera that has been damaged. I'm going to be using an original camera from an iCloud locked iPhone XS Max that I purchased as parts only. Most iCloud phones are sold as is for parts only, which is why I can use a camera from this iPhone as a replacement. The phone on the right is the one that needs the camera. The XS Max rear camera is made up of two units, one wide angle camera and one telephoto camera. The iPhone XS and the XS Max use the same camera. When buying a replacement camera, you want to get a genuine camera. You can get one of these from eBay or an online vendor such as Mobile-Centrics for about $50. I will post a link down below for the website. They wholesale a bunch of different parts for all types of phone models. The toolkit I'm going to be using is the iFixit Essential Toolkit you can get on the website for about $25. The camera was damaged due to a fall. Even though there was no physical damage to the phone, the internals such as the camera can be damaged if the phone is dropped from a table height. As you saw earlier when I was testing the phone, I opened up the camera application and the screen was black. This is common on iPhone cameras that are damaged. I'm going to start here by taking off the screen. I'm going to be very careful here because you can easily damage the OLED screen by going into deep. Now if your screen is cracked and you need a genuine replacement screen, you can buy one from Mobile-Centrics. They have original OLED screens. As I'm going along the edges of the screen, the waterproof seal is coming off as well, so I'm going to need to replace it when I reinstall the screen. There are two faceplates covering the connectors that I'm going to disconnect. I'm going to start with the lower one, which covers the digitizer connector. After that is removed, I'm going to remove the top faceplate covering the battery connector, OLED connector, and the Face ID connector. Before disconnecting any cables, you need to disconnect the battery. If you take the connectors out without disconnecting the battery, then you might risk shorting a circuit on the logic board. It is very important to disconnect the battery. I'm going to use my nail to remove the connectors. You can get a better feel for them rather than using a spudger. However, using a spudger is also fine. I'm always going to be holding the screen in a book style manner because of the connectors. If the screen folds too far back, the Face ID connector might tear. When removing the Face ID connector, you want to remove it slowly because it is attached with adhesive to the front camera assembly. If you pull too hard, you might tear the cable of the front-facing camera. After the screen is removed, I'm going to remove the bracket covering the camera held down by two screws. This is pretty easy to take out. The camera has two flex cables attached to it, one for each camera. I'm going to use my nail again to disconnect the cable the same way I did earlier. As for taking out the camera assembly, I'm going to use my finger and a spudger. You can pry it up on each side and it will slowly come out of the housing. Underneath the camera is a flash which has its own connector. I did not remove it as there was no need. Make sure to be gentle with the replacement camera. If you hit it or drop it, it might damage one of the cameras inside the unit. The rear camera on this device is 12 megapixels and can also shoot 4K at 24 frames per second, 4K at 30 frames per second, and 4K at 60 frames per second. I'm going to reconnect the screen and do a test. When I'm reconnecting the connectors, I'm going to do it slow and make sure the connector fits in properly because you can easily damage one. As you can see, I'm still holding the screen in a book style manner when I'm reconnecting the cables. Without fully installing the screen, I'm going to power up the phone and open up the camera app to see if it's working properly. It would be annoying to find out that the replacement camera is not working or has any sort of issues after the phone is reassembled. This is why I always test beforehand. As you can see, the new camera is working and there are no marks or lines or dots of any sort in the image. Now that I have confirmed it's working, I'm going to reassemble the device back together. First I will be powering up the device and disconnect the screen. I'm going to remove the old waterproof adhesive as it comes off pretty easily if you go around the edges with your finger or a tweezer. If you're using a tweezer, go very slow, but be careful around the front camera and the Face ID assembly. After the old seal is removed, I'm going to install a new seal. You can get the new seal on Mobile-Centrics, or if you purchase a new screen, it will already come with it. This waterproof seal is important as it will keep the dust out, but not so sure about water. Apple's waterproof seal always tends to wear down after some time, and so the phone is not fully water resistant as it once was when it was new. The seal wears down faster if the device is exposed to hot temperatures, which causes the seal to expand. With an expanded seal, water can get through much easier. Now, you usually want to replace the seal once you remove the screen for any reason, unless most of it is still intact on the housing and if it isn't worn down. If you are doing a screen replacement, make sure you transfer over the water indicator from the old screen to the new screen. After the old seal is completely removed, I'm going to clean out any debris left around the edges so it doesn't get caught onto the new seal. I'm going to make sure the seal is fully aligned and stuck to the corners of the housing. You can use first aid alcohol to clean up the frame from any dirt. After fully cleaning the housing, I'm going to go ahead and install the camera bracket along with the screws holding it down. Now this bracket keeps the camera in place if the phone ever takes a hard fall, and also prevents any damage from happening to the camera. After the screws are in, I'm going to install the new seal. With properly aligning it, I'm going to take my spudger and run down the sides and the corners of it to make sure it sticks properly. Some parts may still come up, so you might have to go over it twice and make sure it properly sticks. Now, if you didn't install the seal, after some time, a lot of dust and dirt would get inside your phone, and it would be heavily dirty. If you never have to open up your phone, you do not have to worry about this. I'm going to be posting a video about this later on, so be sure to subscribe. Now with the seal fully installed, I can go ahead and connect the old LED display back on. I'm going to put the connectors and install the faceplate's covering. I'm going to make sure the screen is fitted properly and all the screws are in the correct place. You do not want to misplace any screws. The gold color is actually my favorite on the XS, as the iPhone X only came in silver and gray. The gold bezel in the back glass really contrasts well. For a smartphone camera, the XS Max is an excellent phone to take cinematic videos on, as you can shoot in 4K and in 1080p with the slow motion feature. You can use the 4K and the 1080p with the front-facing camera as well. Now, when this device came out, Apple added a wide-angle sensor, which is about 30% bigger than the iPhone X, which means the camera can attract more light naturally without having to edit it. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and be sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel to stay tuned for upcoming videos.